AllStar is not the Major League Baseball game that will be taking place in Philadelphia a week from today. It is a network of amateur radio repeaters, remote base stations, and hotspots that are accessible to one another over voice over internet protocol. AllStarLink runs on a dedicated computer at your location, as well as at the central location. At your location, it may be as small as a Raspberry Pi or a mini PC of whatever sort. It is based on the open source Asterisk private branch exchange software. This allows, Asterisk is widely used, PBX runs on Linux to support telephony in multi-user, typically business environments. Asterisk runs an app, app_RPT, which is the guts of AllStar. That app enables Asterisk to control one or more radios and provides the linking of these radio nodes to other systems of similar construction anywhere in the world over voice over IP. And let me now share I'm going to take this one. Okay, you should be seeing a map of North America covered with nodes. AllStarLink has 45,000 plus users and 37,000 plus nodes. You may or may not be able to see that down in the lower left corner. There is also a Euro map. Are you seeing the European map now? Is the European map up?
Yes, okay. I see it.
And the Oceania. So it's a worldwide system linked using voice over IP. Now, I suspect voice over IP is not a foreign concept to most everybody here. It's used as the backhaul to connect all sorts of communication modalities, including cell towers to central switches and the various digital modes that are in use, whether for public safety, commercial use, or the digital voice modes that amateur radio operators use. Let me share a little bit of jargon. So AllStar is the technology based on Asterisk, open source telephone private branch exchange. AllStarLink is the name of the 501c3 nonprofit corporation that's devoted to the proliferation of the technology and which provides the central services that organizes AllStar for public use. The newest and most current version of the software is called ASL3. ASL3's development was supported by ARDC, the Amateur Radio Digital Corporation, which many of you have probably heard of, also known for the support of the 44net internet addressing that's available exclusively to amateur radio operators. There is an alternative software called ham VoIP, which actually was the ascendant version after the original AllStar was created, and as in seeking additional features, ham VoIP was created, and it has been ascendant for over a dozen years until ASL3 was released into general use a little less than a year ago. So that's about enough about jargon. Just, I guess, one last thing, a node. What is a node? A node is the combination of the computer with the internet connection and the audio handling plus minus a radio. Okay, you can do AllStar without a radio, and I'll talk about that a little more in a few moments. So let's talk about use cases. How might AllStar be used? So one example, you now see a new screen. Okay. I'm going to use this diagram. The blue bubble in the middle represents my, well, one of my clubs, but my main club's repeater, the Philmont Mobile Radio Club's repeater. It's over in Roxborough. The tower at ground level is 700 feet above sea level, and the repeater antenna is not quite 200 feet up the tower. The controller for the repeater is an AllStar node, 47970. You can see a number of pink nodes, and let me try to go off the screen. Let's neglect these two up here in the right upper corner, which are connected through white nodes. Let's look at the pink nodes that are directly connected. If you drill down, you see that their node numbers are under 2,000. All their node numbers are in the 1,000s. These are part of a private network using AllStar connected again over voice over internet protocol to the repeater controller node at the center. And they represent three separate receiver locations. These receiver locations are spread out around the Delaware Valley. One is in Jersey, opposite Bucks County, north of Philly, well north of Philly, but not quite central Jersey. Another is in South Jersey. And the third, interestingly enough, shares the antenna with the Mid-Atlantic Amateur Radio Club's repeater on the Newtown Square Township Tower. Yes, Mid-Atlantic Amateur Radio Club gave up 3 dB of input via a splitter to our receiver so that we could have another input down in Delaware County that covers out to the west into Chester County. This is a use case of a repeater network. This is a relatively small one. There are a myriad of repeater networks built on AllStar across the country. Another use case. Did it change again, I hope?
Yes, it did.
Thank you, Eric. So you're looking at the East Coast Reflector. Well, the East Coast Reflector is a network of networks of different radio modalities that are connected together via AllStar that have 12, the East Coast Reflector has over 12,000 members. It is active 24 hours a day, making connections with people cross mode among all of these different modalities. The AllStar Hub's inputs, EchoLink inputs, Ham Shack hotline is no longer active, but Ham's over IP, and I believe they've replaced Ham Shack hotline with amateur wire. And these various DMR, DSTAR, system fusion links to the reflector. Again, there are other examples. Perhaps those of you in Georgia have heard of the South Coast Amateur Radio Service as another example. Networks like this can be built on an ad hoc basis. I'm going to go back here because that's what these in the upper right-hand corner, the pink nodes that are funneled through a white node. The white node are AllStar nodes directly connected to the repeater. The pink nodes, I know that this one represents a DMR connection. I don't know about this one, but I'm assuming it's another modality. These are used on an ad hoc basis to support specific nets that allow folks who otherwise wouldn't be able to get into the repeater from their location to participate from where they are with the radios they have. The one of the nets that is not just centered here, but knits together AllStar nodes from across the country is the OMIC net on Saturday. OMIC, O-M-I-K, is the largest African-American amateur radio membership society in the country. And they hold that net on Saturdays from typically from 11 to 1 Eastern time, and have participants from around the country and Europe, actually. Last but not least, and here what you're seeing in Supermon is the listing of nodes that are connected to the repeater, the Philmont Mobile Radio Club repeater. And this is the most common use case: individual users near and far connecting to the repeater. And oh, by the way, people take their nodes with them in their car. They power them with a little power bank that you use to power your cell phone. They connect to the internet via their cell phone, and voila, they have a mobile connection to the repeater without having a mobile radio and a whip antenna or other antenna on the car. So individual users connecting is the most common case. You're going to see a blue line come up. That blue line indicates that one was the repeater itself. That meant it was keyed by RF. This is me on this duplex radio's desk keying the repeater. K3FZT demonstrating. K3FZT clear. And there you go, some use cases. What's the hardware and software like? Let's go scroll through some of that. I have one of these. This is so-called ClearNode. This is a Clear RPT, and this is a duplex ClearNode with 2 radios, SA818 radios. My ClearNode is Simplex, and I just use this cute little ICOM radio to get into it. I can walk around the house, actually walk around my 2.3 acres, and I can listen to the club repeater, respond to calls, or call myself. other examples. All scan info. This fella makes the audio box. He'll happily connect it to a computer for you, whether a Raspberry Pi or a Dell 3040 or all kinds of different goodies. This is a very popular approach, a Shari node. Note the two USB ports at the back here. These plug right into a Raspberry Pi, which provides the computing and runs the Asterisk software. There are many versions of Sharis, including pre-built all-in-one with the Raspberry Pi. The Dyna, I have one in a box over there. The Dyna does not have a radio, but it does have a 6-pin mini DIN port on the back end. And those of you who have radios that you use for digital modes know that, yes, you can run the audio out of a Dyna into a bigger radio, and there are people that put up what I call a high power AllStar node on 2 meters or 440. Actually, if you do that, you probably should be coordinated with your regional repeater coordinating body. Who else do I have here? RepeaterPhone. For $8, you can, if you own an iOS phone, you can put RepeaterPhone on your phone, and you can operate AllStar in transceive mode. Most, but not all, nodes will let you connect in transceive mode. An alternative for those of you with Android phones is DVSwitch. Will let you connect over transceive mode to AllStar nodes by number. I could get down in the weeds, but I've been at it for just short of half an hour, and I think it'd be better for me to hear any of your questions. I did note there were a couple of things in the chat. Okay. No questions, but I'll be happy to take any.
Steve, I got a question. I'm curious. I know nothing about this, and I'm just curious, where does this fit in with just the 2 meter 440 repeaters that are local to us?
People in my environment use AllStar. I use it here at my desk, and I use it when I'm on the property local to my local repeater, because the connection is better than walking around with an HT.
Okay.
The audio is much higher quality.
I see. Okay.
And we have people who check into our weekly net who lived and worked in the Philadelphia area and have moved to Florida in the main. And they still check in to the weekend nets because they have friends and they had community here.
I see. Okay.
What was the name of the iOS app again?
It's called RepeaterPhone.
Gotcha.
$8. It does not have a free version.
So if I loaded that app on my phone, I could go through a list of destinations or repeaters and connect with them from my phone and talk.
That's correct. And let me show you. I'll take this.
Steve, do you have to be licensed to use that?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You cannot get a node. Well, anyone theoretically could download RepeaterPhone.
Right.
But you can't get a node number without submitting an official copy of your license.
I see. Okay.
And you can't get the API that you need without submitting a copy of your license.
Okay.
What is the difference between this and the idea of a hotspot where you run Brandmeister?
Well, so Brandmeister is DMR, digital mobile radio.
Right.
And so Brandmeister uses a codec to convert your analog speech into digital bits, and it ships that over the wire. Voice over IP is obviously not analog over IP, but it is a much higher fidelity
Gotcha.
communication. DMR, which by the way I use as well, and I pointed to one friend, the ham Tim, who runs the net, the Ozark net on Sunday nights, and he connects the TGIF network DMR to the repeater for that net.
So
here, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So do you call the device where you can use your handheld to get into the AllStar system, that device that has RF? Is that like a hotspot? Is that what you call a hotspot?
Well, people call it an AllStar node
AllStar
to
node. Okay.
distinguish it from a hotspot. By and large, when people are using the term hotspot in amateur radio communications, they are mostly talking about MMDVM hotspots. You know about MMDVM?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they use the term hotspot, they're mostly talking about MMDVM, which is the engine that runs usually on a Raspberry Pi and does the analog to digital conversion, manages the channel communication, and so forth. And typically it's DMR, YSF, D-Star, P25, NXDN, all of these different digital voice modes. And AllStar is different. It does not work with MMDVM. And the MMDVM modes can't work on an AllStar node. So they're similar looking devices, but two different builds for two different communication functions, even though both use the internet as backhaul.
So what device do you recommend to get then?
Well, it all depends on budget and interests and all the rest of that. I really recommend that folks who are curious about AllStar get either RepeaterPhone or DVSwitch on their phone and play with that for a while. Get yourself registered at AllStarLink. Send in your license and so forth. You can use the AllStarLink active nodes list. The active nodes list here is listed by number, but and you know, you can pick out a number here. Here are the keyed nodes. So these are the keyed nodes that are up here now, and these are in order of most recently keyed. There's 34 active calls going at the moment, and you can see where they're located. You can see who all's connected. Where you see individual numbers, these are mostly individual users. Where you see a list like this, that's likely a repeater. Where you see instead of a number, you see a call sign, that is someone who's on transceive mode using RepeaterPhone or a DVSwitch, not on a hardware node. So this is the main page. I have six. What do I have here? I have 6 registered nodes, only 2 of which are currently registered to the system. The others were experiments of various sorts, mostly failed. This one, the Shark RF M1KE, is this device.
Connecting to MVS Reflector Top Group 91.
In any case, this device also does AllStar and all of the digital voice modes. It is not a radio. I mean, it has a radio in it to connect to Wi-Fi. It has a Wi-Fi radio. It does not have RF on an amateur radio band. It's a pure backhaul device with an John, are you familiar with the term AMBE? AMBE. AMBE is the codec that converts analog to digital bits. The original AMBE was for D-Star only, but now all the rest use AMBE 2, and which is why you can transcode them. Anyhow, this can be an AllStar node. This is not inexpensive. This is these days in the vicinity of $400.
Wow.
ClearNodes are the Cadillac devices. They also do, because he built the circuitry in there and uses DVSwitch, they also do the digital voice modes. And one of the cool things about my ClearNode is with this analog radio, I can talk on DMR, I could talk on YSF, NXDN, I could talk on all the digital voice modes via my ClearNode. Controlling it, the ClearNode is controlled with the app, with an app on your phone, whether on a iPhone or an Android. Okay. Any other questions, comments, verbal abuse, gratuitous harassment?
I think we left all the verbal abuse at the door.
I'll take it.
Anybody else have any questions? Any thoughts? Well, I think it was a great presentation. I think we've all learned something. Maybe you've got some people who are going to give it a shot.
Yep. Thank you.
John, feel free to get in touch.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, I have my own Zoom account, and it sounds to me like you've had some experience with some of the digital voice modes, and maybe have one or more radios for them. And you know, I've puttered around with all of them, although I spend most of my digital voice time with Wires X and Yaesu System Fusion. But happy to help if I can for any of these.
Well, thank you very much.
My personal interest is I really enjoy the nexus of computing and communication. And these days, increasingly, radios are computers with an antenna. And, you know, I personally like playing with all that stuff. So there you go. Thanks for the opportunity, Bob.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for making a presentation.
Thank you.
I guess we'll return to our normal programming.
Well,
Everybody's shocked at all. What? Yeah. I never played with AllStar. I did every other digital mode. Yeah, but never had the drive, but I always wanted to try it.
Well, you know who to contact if you have any questions.
Yep.
Be happy to help, Udo.
Yeah. Oh.
Took all the air out of the room.
Sorry. Well, you've certainly embraced many of the different avenues in amateur radio. My goodness. Didn't realize there were so many other ways to communicate.
Well, there are, and there are more all the time. And, you know, it's a hobby of hobbies, and different people like to do different things.
Yeah.
That's
I
what's
made 200 points for my club's, actually 250 points for my club's field day, by being the safety officer for 50 points, by sending a WinLink message to our section manager and sending 10 other WinLink ICS 213 messages to various ARES members in the 5-county region. Add it all up, 250 points without calling CQ.
Wow.
And that was during the 24 hours of the field day, because before that, using a tennis ball launcher and a bunch of other stuff, I put up a whole bunch of wire antennas for to get on the air station, for the 40-meter station, for the 20-meter station, for the 15-meter station. Hooked up power, batteries, and solar panels. And then on Sunday afternoon, broke it all down. And that was fun for me. More fun than sitting at an operating position going CQ, CQ, CQ. This is W3EN, Whiskey 3, Easy Money, calling CQ Field Day. Not my thing.
Well, you know, that's the great thing about the hobby, is there's so many things and so many avenues. And I stole a quote from my late friend Bob Alford, K4UEE, who was a wonderful DXer, one of the finest gentlemen I've ever met. And he had a saying that was 65 years in ham radio, and it's still magic. Well, I've stolen his quote, and I now say 67 years for me, and it's still magic, because I learn something new every day. And that's the neat thing about the hobby, is there's just so many avenues. If you get bored, you got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just downloaded that app, the iOS app, and went into settings, and I saw the AllStarLink where a new account. But it's also has EchoLink in there, so this works with EchoLink.
Yes, it does.
Interesting.
EchoLink's audio. EchoLink is a wonderful tool. Its audio is generally inferior to the AllStar audio. When you have both available, I encourage you to stick with AllStar. But yes, it does give you EchoLink capability.
Actually operating an EchoLink node here to our repeater, so helping Eric out that he can get to the repeater from where he lives. And it's funny because he tried to use AllStar with his phone internet connection, and his bandwidth was not enough to do that reliable, but EchoLink works. So
He must be really way out in the boondocks, Eric.
Yeah, I think they still use smoke signals there. Yeah, no, I mean he has no internet. He pretty much has to use a T-Mobile phone, like one of these nodes there, and that is flaky. So yeah.
Yeah. And John, if you show up again, make sure you're wearing a cap. Otherwise, we don't know who the heck you are.
Understand.
Yeah.
I just got a haircut too.
I got a haircut too. They cut two of them.
Yeah.
I saw Rob. I'll see him hopefully. I'll be riding with two of my friends who pick me up and take me to Huntsville. That's always a nice ham fest.
I have a question for Steve. If it wasn't already asked, I may have missed it. You there, Steve?
I am.
Yeah. So my question is, AllStar and EchoLink are basically competing similar systems. Which one is most popular these days?
Well, in truth, they are competing only in one aspect, which is individual access to repeaters. EchoLink does not provide the linking among voice over IP networks, among nodes, among, as you saw on one of those images that I put up of linking in the digital voice modalities. EchoLink doesn't do that. EchoLink is, I have no data, so it's speculation. I suppose if you went to the EchoLink website and I know the AllStarLink website gives you numbers of users and numbers of nodes. If you go to the EchoLink website, they may do the same thing, and you could make your own comparison from the primary source information.
Is there a gateway between the two? For example, here in Portland, I primarily use a couple of major repeaters that are EchoLink connected. So so that's how I can get on and talk to people around the country, or in the UK or whatever. It's through EchoLink and the IRLP network, right? But for places where it's AllStar, or there's an AllStar repeater and not an EchoLink repeater, I don't know, what do they interconnect in some way?
AllStar contains within it the software for EchoLink. Most every AllStar connected repeater that I know of, well, I shouldn't say that, but many of the AllStarLink, the AllStar repeaters I know of also accept EchoLink connections.
Okay. So there is some interconnectivity of a sort.
Yeah, it's built right into AllStar, the software. As John pointed out, on RepeaterPhone, it's built into RepeaterPhone. On my radioless node, I had the option of configuring it also for EchoLink. I didn't bother because I don't really have that use for it from my desk.
Thank you.
Sure.
I just looked here on the EchoLink node on the dashboard, and there are currently like close to 7,000 repeaters, users, and nodes online right now at this moment.
Udo, I got a notice that you are sending that stuff to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's in the mailbag. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I followed with the ham clock. I have it plugged in separately into a separate wall outlet, not hooked to the station, so that, when I shut the station down, everything's disconnected, except ham clock. I have that running all the time, but I have the 43-inch monitor turned off.
Right, that's good.
And so that just runs all the time.
Yep.
And I got you a little backup battery unit attached to it. So if it was a temporary power glitch, the clock keeps running, and that seems to work out extremely well. I mean, having that thing running, if it takes 10 cents worth of electricity over a year, that's a lot.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take much power. I mean, yeah, they're very efficient.
Thank you for that.
I don't have anything to do with it. That it works so good. I just.
Bob, did you ever get one of Udo's backup battery units?
No, I've got a 22 kW generator out back.
Okay.
Right, but it's not uninterruptible. I mean it.
Right.
Yeah, and the reason why. This little UPS unit is there because with these Raspberry Pis and also small computers, if they lose power and they're in the middle of something, they might corrupt the internal memory.
Right.
But I mean, so that will bridge until your generator kicks in, So,
yeah. Well, I also have a UPS downstairs at the station.
But if you have a real UPS,
yeah,
that will take care of it too,
Yeah.
I actually have two UPS units, the big ones. One is for the ham radio station only, and the other one is for the AT&T network. And that's on it. That's a separate one. So
Yeah.
I just have both of them. That works out well. I don't have the big generator outside. I thought about it, Bob, but the number of times that we've been without power, um, Georgia Power and Cobb EMC are pretty good about maintaining the network. And every once in a while, we'll see a flicker.
Neil, the last storm we had, we were out of power 5 days.
Yeah,
Not going to live like that again.
we've been that route actually, but it's so rare. I can remember here in Georgia, I'm see about 1972, we had a tremendous storm, and it looked like a war zone. I mean, trees were down all over the place, and we were without power for over a week. But the thing that saved us, the stove that we had at that time had a pilot light. It didn't have electronic ignition.
Ah,
So we were able to cook and had in one room a gas log unit, and that's where we camped out and stayed warm. Otherwise, it was pretty nasty. But yeah, Nancy and I thought about putting in one of those big Generac units, and it's pretty costly. And
yes, it is.
yeah, but if you don't really experience a lot of power, we've had one in 20 years in this house. So that's that.
Well, as I get older, I get less tolerant of things that aren't working. So that's my problem.
Yeah, including me.
Well, I like my comforts.
Well, yeah, I rely on a couple of my good friends to go to the ham club meetings or to the Wednesday lunch because I don't drive anymore.
What if your air conditioner died in a heat wave? You'd really be in up a creek.
Yeah.
So it's these little comforts that we've gotten used to, and as we continue to mature, we become less tolerant, or at least I have, of not having my comforts around me. That's my problem.
My problem is after I turned 90, more things started falling apart.
Yes, I'm right there with you. Things fall off, they rust, they don't work any longer. It's not fun, but we deal with it.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Nancy will sometimes go to the different ham radio events. It's not her cup of tea, but she knows it's important to me.
That's great.
And she goes. The
Good
club,
for her.
the club they've been doing this for many years. It's called the North Fulton Amateur Radio League. And they do for field day, a picnic, and the club furnishes all the soft drinks and hamburgers, hot dogs, and brisket, barbecue, and everybody else brings, a covered dish or whatever. And we'll have as many as 200 people at the picnic, and it's really nice. It's fun.
We had a big dinner served at Saturday evening at the field day site for all the visitors and everything else. Pizza, salads, and everything else. So yeah, it's always nice,
Neil, have you heard from Frankie lately?
Have I what? I'm sorry.
Have you heard from Frankie lately? I haven't seen him the last couple of weeks.
I'll have to look up in QRZ, get his email, see if he's got his email listed, and I'll reach out to him, make sure he's okay. I don't have his phone number. I've known Frankie for years, but I'm glad you said that. I'll check on it. I'll do that. Udo, I may have a visitor from Germany in a little while.
Oh, nice.
An old friend, DL5UW, Fritz Berenson, who was from Heidelberg. He passed away a couple of years ago, but I've known his daughter since she's a little girl. And I guess Irmgard is in her middle 40s now. And she's big into horses, into the, what do you call it, dressage. And she comes to the States frequently. So she wrote to me recently that she may come to visit. Be nice to see her. She's a nice young lady. She still lives in Heidelberg.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a pretty town. I liked Heidelberg.
Yeah, I was born in Mannheim, which is about a couple